Thank you, Donna, again for joining us. Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, 6/11/2025. I'm going to do
Mm-hmm.
a quick recap of what I went over last week. And I went over branding yourself, uh, which in so many ways it is important in what we have decided to do because there's so many people trying to do the same thing, and I feel that we want to create a relationship. I think I like doing affiliate, but I think the digital is a lot more personal. So
Mm.
I figured that I would go a little bit over that. um, I'm trying to bring something a little bit that we could use within the community. um, the week before that, I went over like what's holding you back, because I feel that even a lot of members have mentioned that, oh, I'm sorry that I haven't been in the community. I'm just taking a little break. Um, and there's always so many. We're human, and we like excuses. We
Oh,
love
yeah, and
excuses.
people get wrapped up in excuses. Yes, yes.
Absolutely. It's like when
Mm.
we want to go to the gym and oh, it starts raining. Oh, I can't go, it's raining. Oh, yes, it's raining. So we get all excited because we found an excuse not to have to
Yeah,
go,
not to.
not
Mm.
to get in that car, not to get wet. Why is that?
Hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. Or so the same thing with this, and I a lot of the things that I talk about, I talk for self-experience, one, and two, because I need the help in it as well. So it kind of like makes me, that's why in a lot of the topics that I've touched, I'm very, very passionate because I need the help. So, something that has, as far as the branding, we have to kind of show up and show clarity. So last, let me go in here real quick, and I'm sorry. Uh,
That's okay.
So here and in there. I'm just
Three
afraid that
screens must be so confusing.
no, I usually have five monitors on. So I have like my 9 to 5 over here, and then
Mhm.
over here I have my BGC, and I have my big stand tablet to do Zoom calls.
I know. That's crazy,
And I
girl.
and you know what? So if when I work from somewhere else, I only have the laptop, and
Hmm.
it's impossible because you get used to it. You're able to,
Yeah.
and in my 9 to 5, I have like 30 to 35 screens open. So it's just easier to just like have as many monitors as possible. Yeah,
Mm.
so
Mm.
one of the highlights that we had last week was what is a personal brand? And what how are you working your community? I know you're very thorough. I've seen your community is beautiful. Um,
Thank you.
so what is branding to you?
Branding's me. I am my brand.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like there's nothing else that can brand you. You have to brand yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're not showing up, if you're not truly aligned with your purpose and your core values, if they don't align, then something's not working.
Mm-hmm.
And the message that you put out there must be true and authentic and real and raw.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's your
Yes.
branding. Like people can go into all the technical side of that, but that's basically what it is. I like to keep it simple. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
to overcomplicate it
Mm-hmm.
because I think that people want complication in their lives and their excuses and their um, overthinking and their um, I guess conditioning and programming to find out every little thing that they need to have before they start. Um, that doesn't even exist in my world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I teach people don't overthink, don't. your mindset is everything. Your thoughts, your decisions, your actions, your emotions, everything's connected. That's the power of law
Hmm.
of attraction,
Yes. Oh, I
which is,
love that.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
I totally love that. And you said something very powerful, like it's you. It's, and it's true, you have to kind of show that strength about you. And our reputation. And with
Mm,
that, it's not only our reputation, it's best to show who we are to be able to bring out. I feel that, um, yes, you said something that, okay, you like to keep it simple, which is
mm,
fantastic. It's great because you that kind of tightens up an excuse coming in. So people see things that are difficult and they're like, no, I really can't do that. And they hold
mhm.
themselves back from moving forward. And I know that what we want to do is, yes, of course, we all want to we want to become financially free, but as well, we want to help people. And
Yeah,
like I see in many members that from the community, they come in for to generate an income to become financially free, and we all end up falling into like in love with everyone and caring so much. I see it in all in the calls that we have, and every time there's a Q&A and people start talking about their stories and sharing about where they came from and what they do and where they've been. And
mm,
there's times that I have to turn my camera off. And I like to keep my camera on because to me, that has helped me to show up. I was
yeah,
very like, no,
yeah.
I'm not doing that. I can't do no content. What? But leaving the camera open kind of like is helping me to be able to be a little bit more free with talking. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Mm.
sometimes if I say something that my accent comes out and I say something wrong, it's, "Ah," I laugh at me. No, that's not what I meant. But is
Exactly. We're human, we make mistakes. But
yes.
in keeping it simple doesn't mean we don't dive deeply into what is holding us back, which is what
Mhm.
I do too. Like, um, you know, I am a belief clearing practitioner, so I'm certified in that. So I know how to dig down into without prodding in, without well, that's a simple process. People will think, oh, that's how do you do that? But it's just knowing how to go about it.
Mhm.
The law of attraction through Bob Proctor's work, is another area. And then hypnotherapy, like clinical hypnotherapists to help with processes so people can move into, their dream life. Like
Mhm.
bringing all those three things together is so powerful, but it's simple. And
Right.
that's what I
That's
like,
fire. That's very powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. So, and again, that is, I use those things without normally, on my lives and stuff. I don't talk about that stuff, but it's all part of the language and the
Mhm.
verbiage that I use
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
because
Wow.
that's what I know.
Right, right,
People
right.
might not realize what I'm actually saying or understand it on that level underneath the surface,
Right.
but it
Yeah, because that's
is
deep.
exactly.
That's something
Mm,
very human, but to a different level.
mm,
And not too many people bring themselves there. So,
they're afraid, fear.
yes. And I was going to say that before. You're right. It's powerful, simple, but scary at the same time.
Mm, mm,
Like, do
mm.
I really, wait, do I want to feel that? Do I want to know that? So yes, I think that's very and I think today is so important to be able to get to know ourselves in that level.
Yeah,
Because if
absolutely,
we don't, I
absolutely.
mean, yeah, a lot of people we go around, um, you know, we have worked just about our whole life
Mm,
and
mm,
we lose ourselves. And we forget us, what we're thinking. We're just
Mm.
walking around like robots a
Oh,
lot of
that's
times.
it.
So, yeah.
Well,
And it's,
unconscious awareness is where it comes from, and it's just like we just get up, we do this, we do this, we do this. We don't think about it. If people started thinking, tuning in, being aware, then life would be so much more joyful.
my God, being aware. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
That's that's huge because it is true. We just go with the flow of things
Yeah,
and
because
we
it's
lose that
easier and it's
awareness.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
just used to go with the
yeah.
flow. And it is very
It so
comfortable.
is.
Yeah, it is so
Mm,
weird, but I think
hmm.
society has not given us too many choices. We gotta work.
Yeah,
We sleep, we get home, shower, eat, sleep, work. And it's that
mm,
routine. Then Saturday comes and we're dying for that weekend to come. And then the weekend goes like that because we
hmm.
do so many things in 2 days that before we know it, all right, well, I have to go to sleep. Let,
Yeah,
it's an awful
yeah.
routine that we have,
It's
unfortunately, for
exhaustion. It's
very,
exhaustion.
very, very, and
Yeah.
physically, mentally, emotionally,
Mm,
it's just, and we have so much that
mm.
as we get older that we have to deal with. And, it's like, when my parents got sick,
Yeah.
it's like
Yes.
it was so I was depressed because I wanted
Mm,
to give more of me.
mm.
And
Exactly. How much
yeah,
can you give?
and it's like I just want to be there.
Yeah,
And
but I just need a moment.
yes, it was very so when I did have the opportunity, I my 9 to 5 gave me a few days to be home. And
Yeah.
it was exhausting. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm,
And like,
absolutely.
yeah, like I I've said before, like extremely over the top exhausting, but I look back now and I'm so grateful that I had that
Oh,
opportunity.
a
I wouldn't
hundred
change it for
percent.
the world. And I see it as I don't know your faith, but I'm very I was raised Christian Pentecostal, and I've always had that support.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you knew I'm 1 out of 6, but there's me. I was the
Yeah.
only one that took care of my parents. And I have a brother that helped a little bit, but it was hard for him. And I'm like, but I get it because
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah.
one in the middle, and I'm the one that's
Mm.
very I'm very they call me the captain
You're
because
very organized and disciplined. Yeah.
yeah, and I do
You
things
have to
like
be.
yeah. And so God made it work the way that he knew. That's why I feel blessed.
Mm, mm.
Anything, of course,
And
that's with my kids, but yeah.
you know what? You're only given what he knows you can handle. You're
Hmm.
never given more than that.
Yeah. Hmm.
And what you take out of that is so far greater
Yes.
than what you're in,
Hmm. Hmm. I
which
agree.
is which is so huge in itself.
Absolutely.
Mm,
I believe that. And I believe that we go through situations that are either going to help us or someone that we love later. He's just making us stronger.
mm,
And
mm.
I'm just grateful. I look at my kids and I'm like, you know what? It has paid to be the strict mom that I was and the strict person, sister that I am, and the captain, and whatever it is. And
Mhm.
so in the past, so I lost mom in 22, dad 23 and 24. I was in the hospital a lot, the hospital visits, and I lost myself a little bit within the community, and I kind of like slowed down a little bit. And talking about this and whatever and the other, when I started my community, I was like, why? why am I doing this? Like, what do I have to offer? And
Yeah.
I, this is me. I like to sometimes just sit on my own and just figure me out. And I said to myself, wait a minute. I've been a caregiver. I've been a single mom. I worked 3 jobs when I was raising my kids. Um,
Mm,
I've been through situations that have been a little bit difficult to get out of and financial because of, I mean, I always took care of myself, but life is very, very expensive, you know. So I kind of said, okay, I do have a lot, and
mm,
I'm not
mm.
the only one that's been through all this. So there came, I'm not here. I do think, of course, generating and becoming financially free is a huge, huge help, especially, changes that I'm planning in my life. But oh my God, helping other people will just be so amazing to
Oh, yeah.
see a woman that's in a situation that she can't get out of, and then also like she has all this money to be able to do whatever she wants. To me, that's
Mm,
like,
mm,
oh my God, wait a minute. I helped her
mm-hmm.
do that. So, like, and that comes to the branding ourselves, that we will be able to do so much. My light died. And it's very dark. It's actually storming out there.
Oh,
It's
really?
thundering, it's lightning, it's yeah.
Oh, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it's
Amazing
raining.
views, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Mm. Amazing views.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm on the Manatee River, and you could see the lightnings come down, and there was one that went down before, and I wish I had taken a picture of it. But I
Uh,
saw I saw a lot of birds flying away. So,
yeah.
I mean, I didn't see a
Mm,
fire, but I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, so that brings me into, the branding, how, I want to be able to show that I'm not I'm here to sell, but I'm also here to help. That's why to me
yeah.
it's important. And I started doing the affiliate,
Mm,
and it's something that I do, an experience that I do want to offer in my community. I want to teach people to do it, because I'm sure that it's just another income stream that I could train people to do.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
at the same
exactly.
time, that's a come and go person. I
Mm,
think
mm.
digital is someone that you're able to cater to and help. And, um, so we do need to create that branding that we call, um, and we attract the, when we work on ourselves and take care of us and carry ourselves well, we pull good people.
Mm.
Because look at Michelle. Oh,
I
her
know, I
community is
know.
incredible. Like there's
Yeah.
so many good people in the community that are there to, yes, of course, we're all there to have an income, but also to help one another. And
Yeah, it's the support I think out of her community. And, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Leadership and the core values and um, the delivery of everything comes from the
mhm,
top. If she
yes.
wasn't heart centered, that could be very um, disappointing community. But because she leads from the top with values and her heart-centered message and her vision,
Mhm,
that community with like that many people in it is huge. Like it comes from the top, and she makes sure that nobody goes in there that's got all the um you know got other intentions.
mhm, mhm. Yes, it's we have that many people in so little bit of time. It
Mm,
has
mm,
grown so much. I'm not sure how
yeah.
long you've been in the community, but so I've been in the community since 2023. And I think
Mm,
she
okay.
had,
Yeah.
yeah, a little less than 1,000. And
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so whoever was
Mm,
there that was not fit for the community, kind of like some way or another. I mean, Michelle has shed tears
I know, I've seen a
because of
few.
things. Yes, like she's gone through growing pains.
Of
And
course. Mm,
it's something that we're all going to go through. You're going to go through it. I'm going to go through it. Wait until we have like not so many members, but our intentions are to help a lot of people.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we're going to experience that. And it's like I was
Mm,
telling a group of when we did the legacy call, what happens in the community we could use as learning experience of what to do and not to do with our members,
exactly.
because like we're learning. And I feel that I
Hmm.
kind of like I'm not making nowhere near what Michelle is doing. Do I see me there? Um, she works a lot.
She does work a lot.
She puts in
Yeah.
a lot of work. Um, and I love her for that. I don't know if I mean, I'm at an age right now that I want to run my community. I want to have people and I just want to devote to them and give it
Mm,
my all and help them get their members. And
hmm.
that part I want to do. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I mean, also, I guess when you look at Michelle, because of the way that she's grown her success, she's able to put people in place, a team in place to help her as well. So, but she does a lot of calls herself.
Hmm.
And that's where she puts in a lot of time because that doesn't change for her.
Hmm.
But as far as the back end stuff goes, like she doesn't necessarily have to do so much of that,
Yeah.
apart from her
Yes.
content. Mm.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yes. I don't know.
it's helpful when you
Did
get
you
to
go
that
to,
point to have a team.
yeah, it's a lot for one
Yeah,
person
it's
to,
a lot.
yeah. Did you go
Exactly.
to the
Yeah.
mastermind?
No, I'm not in the mastermind. No,
Okay.
no, because I wanted to focus on getting my community up and running.
Which is a great idea.
And
Hmm.
yeah, and not take away from that. And plus, a lot of the legacy building calls are at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. So I don't get to get on those live. And then the mastermind would be at a different time as well. So,
Hmm.
but my focus is really about building my community. And look, the information is amazing. It's not about that. It's about, where you need to focus until you're ready
Yeah.
to do that and go up. So, yeah.
I'll be honest. I think that out of the three programs, the Legacy, Builders, and Mastermind, I think the Builders community has so much value.
Mm,
And
mm,
because same thing, I want to focus on my community and I want to
yeah.
make it grow. And it's a new thing for me. So I need ideas.
Exactly.
And she gives all those ideas because she has the background of her community. So I
Of
think that,
experience as well. Yeah, that's
mhm,
right.
yes. So I went to her to the Life Mastermind in Kansas,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
she she's amazing. She's as humble as
Mm,
more than you see on her videos. So I
yeah,
have met
yeah.
her I went to the cruise, the first cruise in 24,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that's where I met her. And when I saw her in my walk and I'm like, Michelle. So she looks back and she's like, Maria. I was surprised that she even knew my name. But I was like,
That's
oh,
amazing.
yes. And
See, she makes it her business to know every person that would have
mhm,
been on that cruise and what um, she would have memory stuff. There's ways to memorize who each person is, what their name is, and you relate to them by a certain thing.
mhm,
I've actually seen this in practice where there's been a room of 300 people and somebody went around and named each, like went around and asked each person their name. And we all sat down after the break And he went round the room because nobody was in order when they were in the break, right? And so they came into the room and sat down, and he went through. There were 3 people out of 300 that he couldn't remember their name. So there are techniques that you can use to actually
Yeah.
memorize who's what
I
by
did read
putting
about
something
that.
in place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
if
he was amazing.
somebody
I think
looks,
his name was like Ray White or something.
hmm, I
Yeah,
read a
he
book
was
about
like,
that. It's incredible. Yeah, like you see a person and they remind you of
mm.
this other person that means a lot to you, and then you
But
kind
things
of
as
forget it.
well. Like there was things that he sort of related to them as well, like a thing, something, whether a clock or whatever. There was something about the
Wow,
name that he related to that. And there could have been like 15 Johns in the room, but he knew everyone.
that's incredible. That's nice.
Mm,
That's nice. That's an art.
mm.
That's a gift. That's a
And
gift.
that to watch that figure out and play out was like incredible.
Hmm,
Mm,
that's awesome. That's good. It's
mm,
definitely, I mean, I think it's hard for a lot of people because we think too much of our stresses. Whatever we stress about, we just don't know how to let go. And I think that's
mm.
one of the huge problems that we have. We have so much in here going on. Like I call that
Yeah,
spaghetti salad that just won't like that takes us away
yeah.
from what should be more important to us. I mean, we worry about things uh that we have no solution for. And sometimes like when I first moved to Florida, my intention was to stop stressing over people's problems. Because yes,
Mm,
I'm the middle child, but I'm the older sister of my older brother.
mm,
And
mm,
even with my parents, every time they made a decision, well, what do you think? So when I moved to Florida, I'm like, no, that's it. I'm done.
mm.
Um,
You can only control what you do. You can't control what other people do. So yeah,
yeah.
you have no control over that.
I sat down and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna write a list of all my issues. I don't have any.
Mm.
Wait a minute. It was everybody else's. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't, I
Mm.
need to, yeah. So sometimes we forget us. We forget ourselves and we worry too
Yeah,
much. And I
yeah.
started saying to myself, I'm gonna stop being so nosy. I need to worry and think about, I have my kids, my
Stay in your
grandkids, my
lane.
parents at the
Yeah,
time. That's who I'm gonna
yeah.
worry about and just like keep moving forward because I started getting heart problems because of
Mm.
like worrying so much. So yeah, so I have here back to branding. What makes you you? You explored your passions, skills, values, and life story. And Donna, I love the way you talk because obviously, like, you have a beautiful message. Like, your knowledge is incredible. And I totally, I love that. Um,
Thank you.
Not everybody, that's a gift that we all have gifts, but not everyone
Mm.
is able to bring it out. So when I see it,
Exactly.
I show appreciation and I
Mhm.
like to say.
Thank you so much, Maria.
So, which it brings here, what makes you you? And you I read it. You explored your passion, skills, values, and life story, and it prompts, what do people often compliment you on? So I actually said that I read that after I said what I said to you. I didn't compliment you because of that question.
Oh,
But what what
right.
do people
Okay.
compliment you on?
Um, I think it's a couple of different things. One of them is that I help people. Um, I like to give, so I help people a lot. The other thing is where I'm at today compared to where I've come from, I guess. So I don't, I've done a lot of work on getting rid of a lot of stuff. I went through domestic violence at 21. So there was a lot of stuff there that wasn't even brought up for, I don't know, 20 something years. And so when I started telling my story and acknowledging it, then, I started realizing there was a lot more people out there that had gone through that as well.
Mm.
Because back when I went through it, it was horrified if anybody knew you went through that. It wasn't talked about, it wasn't in the media. But when I was 45, I came across a lot of people who had gone through that as well. And even though they didn't talk about it, it was a conversation that we had. So I did a lot of work. I released a lot of stuff. And, you mentioned excuses earlier. And I just find a lot of people have a lot of excuses, and I just don't have the patience for it. But over the year, I don't, because if they can't get out of their own head and start, and I say I'm really grateful for my journey through domestic violence because it's made me who I am.
Mhm.
I've got a soft side, but I've also got a hard side.
Mhm.
And my hard side is that if you want to work with me, you have to do the work,
Yeah.
because if you don't do the work, you're not going to change and you're going to waste your money. And I don't want that.
Right.
So if you're ready for a breakthrough, yes, I'll give you a breakthrough. But I will talk to you first. If you're not ready, I will know in 5 minutes if you're ready for a breakthrough. And I'm not going to take your money
Mhm.
for that. You're not going to do it. I'm not going to waste your time, my time, or your money. Revisit it in 3, 6, 12 months and
Mhm.
see if you're ready then. But I know the signs of people who are ready, and I know the signs of people who aren't ready.
Mhm.
And
Wow,
so
very
that
nice.
side of it is part of who I am and part of what I'm able to give people, which is where they complement, I guess.
Hmm. Interesting. Wow, that's nice.
Mm.
That's good. Yeah, I when I was very young, my aunt said to me, my family name is Pebbles. That's like my nickname. And
Okay.
she was always very close to her angels, and her vitamins.
Mm.
And
Yes.
she's my mom's baby sister. Unfortunately, she has Alzheimer's. She got it before mom, and mom got it. She was diagnosed in her mid 50s, and mom got it, and mom passed, and she's still going. And she's
Mm.
been
Mm.
bound to a bed for a very, very long time. But Didi said to
Yeah.
me, you have a gift. And I'm like, really? And she's like, you do? I could
Mm.
see it. You don't see it, but you will. And when you do, maybe you're going to be it's going to scare you a little bit, but just study it within you. Don't tell anybody
Mm.
because people are going to think you're crazy. And
Yeah.
not everybody believes certain things, and that, that we have that observation, that we have that we're able to tell. I could tell
Mm.
a lot about a
Mm.
person by just looking at their eyes. And
Mm.
And she's like, you're going to come across a person that's going to tell you that. That's not my place. And I'm like, well, if you see it, tell me. She's like, no, I can't. Because when you have a
You have
gift,
to
you have to
understand it.
find it
Mm.
because
Mm.
you need to work on it. So I could tell you something and you're going to try and figure it out, and it's just
Mm.
going to ruin the whole process.
Yeah,
So
because you'll be looking at things that, oh, is that it? Oh, is that it? And it'll take you off the focus of where
misread.
you're, yeah, misread. It's like it's kind of like going to what do you call it? The people that read your cards and,
A psychic.
yeah, like a psychic type person. And then you look for everything that could be related to that instead of just being open to receive.
Right. Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah. You have to
Yes.
know, and then you have to recognize, and then you have to acknowledge, and then you have to understand, and then you have to put it in practice. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of levels to that as well.
Yeah, there is.
Mm,
There is.
mm,
And
mm.
I remember um she didn't want to get into it and she said to me, and can we please not talk about it? Again, we don't have to talk about it moving forward. Because she probably thought that I was going to nag her about it. Tell me, tell me. So we left it
Yeah.
alone and years later and she did tell me when you do find out you're going to know. You are going
Yeah,
to feel it. You're
you
going to
know.
know.
Mm,
And sure thing, I went into a restaurant with my family and I saw a lady and she was just sitting there and do you hear that? That's
mm, mm, mm.
that's a lot of trembling. I felt the floor shake.
Oh, no, I didn't hear it. No.
That's thunder. That thunder. So I saw this lady and I just like I said to the people that I was sitting with, I'm like, oh my God, that poor woman. She had issues with her kids. And and I went on and she's just here. She's not, she can't be around her kid who needs her right now. Da, 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 and I went on. So one of the people that were at the table with us questioned her, are you okay? And she's like, yeah,
Mm,
why? And she seemed like a little why. And she said exactly
mm,
what I said. And my mom said to me, don't do that. Now, I knew my mom was very Pentecostal. And she was like, no, God does not like that. You need to, if that's what you are thinking, you need to hold it back and don't say that because that's almost like saying the future about someone and that's not a good
mm,
thing. And I'm like, but I don't like when I felt that I started praying for her. So for a
mm.
long time I kind of like shut down a little bit and
Yeah, because we're
I
often told to silence our voice.
yeah, yeah. I mean after mom said that to me, I'm like, but I didn't feel anything negative. But she said that, and of course,
Mm,
my respect for her kind of like shy it out a little
mm.
bit. And
Yeah,
in the past few
yeah.
years, I kind of been like, you know what? I think that God is putting feelings in my heart. So I could either pray for
Mm,
them, or I could smile, or I could just something.
mm.
I guess I will be able to tell at the moment. So
Yes.
yeah, it's and I like to help people. One of the things that
Mm,
I always wanted to do was do a shelter for domestic abuse women. And
mm-hmm,
because I went through that.
mm,
And, you know, I had my kids. So my thought I had, like I'm going to have this huge shelter and I'm going to have a big gym for all the kids to like go and play and like a kids place for
mm,
for
mm,
all the little ones to be able to go there and like that's my passion, that's my dream, that's I know I'm going to be able to
mm-hmm,
do something like that. So
mm-hmm.
yes, it will
That's
happen.
amazing. Well done. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Mm. So,
Yeah, that brings me into the brand statement formula. I help blank do blank so they can blank.
mm-hmm.
So I help who do what so they can result.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So what would your sentence be?
Oh, I say it in all my videos. I help women over 60 to live to build their freedom fund so they don't have to stress about their financial future in retirement. That's it. Like, you know,
I
that's
like
it.
that.
It's that simple. Like, yeah, it's, we have been in places financially where we haven't had enough. And I never want to do that again. I never want to do that again. And, when I left that marriage of domestic violence, I committed to never walking around with not 1 cent in my wallet ever again. I committed to never having to live in that poverty line ever again. I committed to investing wisely. And even though that doesn't always work out, I never want to have to take a calculator to the grocery store again. I never want another 60-plus-year-old who's um, heading towards pension stage or on the pension, and you know pension doesn't pay for anything these days. Rents are going up, mortgages are going up, groceries are going up, petrol's going up. Like, inflation is huge, and so we just don't want to be able to see others live in that space. Like, I want them to go, you know what, stop checking your bank account before you go and say yes to somebody.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just know that
Yes.
you can just walk in and do whatever it is that you choose to do.
Can you imagine how, like, you're saying that, and I'm picturing like people just being able to just live
Mm,
a nice life, not having
yeah.
to like spend so much time dedicated to a place that they don't really,
Mm,
I want to use the word old to, but I mean, we create a family, we have a family so we can enjoy them. And our
yeah.
jobs
Yeah.
take us so much away from that. I mean, yeah, it's okay. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
looking to be lazy. I can't see myself without not doing anything. I would be happy if I
Exactly.
worked
Me too. Yeah.
4 hours a day and then
Mm,
dedicate to my
mm,
kids, dedicate to my grandkids. I didn't have I wasn't able to dedicate to my kids because I was a single mom. I worked 3 jobs, a full-time
mm-hmm,
and two
mm.
part-times. And
Yeah.
I was part-time after work and then on weekends.
Mm,
So,
mm-hmm.
like we've been taken away from our loved ones. And,
Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
shame.
Because that's how
Yeah.
we were programmed. That's what society expected us to do. You're taught work 40 hours a week for 40 plus years to live on, the poverty line and not have enough to last you 30 years. We're all living longer these
Hmm.
days because we're more aware of our health, and our health is our wealth. So we get to a point where you just, like, at some point you've got to break that cycle that you don't need this huge time in university to get a degree that you can't even get a job with at the end of it.
And you have to pay them for the rest of your life, not to mention.
Yeah, exactly. The debt that you
Yes.
build up over that time as well. So it's just like,
It's a
mm,
shame. It's a shame that, I mean, my husband, he's into a lot of uh conspiracy, and
mm,
he always talks about how the richest people in the world have us doing this and that and the other, and just to keep us away from our family, from doing this, from doing that. And I'm like, I don't want to know. I can't
mm,
because I
mm,
can't do anything about it. But it's true.
mm,
I mean, this
mm. It
is
is
it's so
true. It
crazy
is true.
how they created the 9 to 5 centuries ago. And we've
Mm.
gotten modern. There's so many things that are modern. The digital world. Like there's no need
That's
for
it.
us to
And
what we
And there's a lot
do.
of staggered work hours now. Like, it's not the standard 9 to 5, but it's still the 8 or 9 hours a day.
Yeah, it's
However
just
that
insane.
fits in.
Hmm.
Mm,
And instead of
exactly.
shrinking our time, they give us more work
Yeah,
because
yeah.
what we do, like I do billing and collection, billing and accounting. And what I do that I was doing for years now, they could shrink that into 2 hours with all the digital
Mm,
technology that we have today.
mm,
No, okay, yeah, we're going to do this, but here's more. Here's something
mm.
else to
That's
do.
it. Yeah,
And
yeah.
like it's insane how they have not updated that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, companies,
So,
and it's a shame that we're living to make somebody else's dream come true.
Mm.
And we have to overlook ours because of whatever reason. So
Yeah,
it's,
that's
yeah,
it. So my dream is my focus right now. My dream and the dream of my community, bringing their dreams into fruition and being able to just help them to stop making other people's dreams come true.
yeah,
Mm,
yes, I like it. That's a nice mission statement.
mm.
That's definitely
So,
nice.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, let's help each other leave that 9 to 5. Let's help each other make our dreams come true and stop making somebody else's.
yeah. And I mean, there's even people in the late 60s and even 70 who are considering going back to some sort of work because they can't afford to live.
Yeah.
When you look at Canada and you look at 50% of the retirees in Canada are homeless because they cannot afford the rents or the mortgages or the general inflation, then, you know, something's wrong, something's broken,
Yeah.
and they're not fixing it.
And I don't think they see a reason why they should. I
Mm.
mean, there's a lot of people in the world. So my mother-in-law went to California and she lived there for a little bit. And that's where my husband was born. And she said that California looks horrible. And to
Mm.
me, California was one of the most beautiful places that because of,
Yeah,
yeah, like that's what I've
in my
seen.
mind too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she says to me that there were homeless people everywhere,
Mm.
tens of
See, they
homeless people
choose
on the
nice
street.
places. Yeah, they choose nice places to do that. Like we've got beautiful river, ocean right here as well. I can see it from my window, and there's a lot of homeless here too.
And that's it's a shame. I mean,
Mm. Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's hard, it's easy for me to say, well, why don't you like work? But then again, I'm sure that they all have a very powerful reason of why they are where they are. Whether
Yeah.
is, like
Oh,
everybody
look,
has
there's
a
a number
story.
of reasons. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a number of reasons. Some choose to be there. We know there's an old lady that comes up and down here, and my husband's spoken to her a couple of times, and it's kind of her choice, like to be there. She doesn't like being around people. So she's been offered places to go, but she says, I don't like it. I don't like being around all those people. And then there's those that it's generational. So they don't break the cycle. It's unemployment for, their whole life. And then it's homelessness for their whole life. And then it's drugs. And then it's whatever. So there's all those reasons that come into some of them as well. And then there's just purely and simply they can't afford the number of people that apply for a rental property when it becomes vacant, you might get 20 or 30 people there to inspect it and only one person can have it. And so the competition around finding a place to live that's within your price range is unrealistic.
Yeah.
So they can't afford to keep paying rent where they are, or they've stopped paying rent and they're asked to leave. And then where do they go next? What's their next step? Nowhere to go. And most of
Mhm.
them don't have cars.
It's a shame.
So
And
it is a shame.
the thing is, where does it start to go back and see if it could be fixed? But in reality, there's so many steps that go to that it's
It's
impossible,
huge.
not
Mm.
impossible, it's just very difficult to get to a solution, how to help that from avoiding that from happening. And
And then it's the red tape that you've got to go. You've got to push through the government guidelines to be qualified to be able to do that. And that a lot of people just give up on that process because
mm,
it's not easy.
uh, it, yeah, it's a shame. I just just came to my mind when I became a single mom. I didn't want to move my
Mm,
kids from where I had them.
mm,
It was bad enough that they were not going to have their father there. So
yeah.
I worked for an attorney and I started doing in intakes for him. I was doing paralegal work, and just to get more money, I started doing intakes. And I used to go all the way to New York City,
Mm,
which that was not the safest place to go.
no.
And it was a little bit bad. So I was running short on my electricity bill. And I was afraid it was winter time. I didn't want my electricity to be cut down because then it comes
Mm,
the pipes getting frozen. And I had a two-story house and I had a cottage on the other side. So I'm like, oh my God, if that breaks, it's that. So I ended up going to social service and $300. That's 280 something. And
mm.
they declined me because I made $33 over their budget
Over
limit.
what? Mm. Yeah, very strict guidelines there too.
And I was like, listen, I just need
Yeah.
for now, put it on my mortgage. It's
Mm,
okay. I just need
mm,
because I have always had a difficult time I don't know what borrowing money is like from a person.
mm.
I've never.
Yeah, right.
And to me, like it won't and I've done collections and I've done my job very, very well. But as far as a personal loan, uh, other than a bank, I've never.
Mm,
I just
no.
so, and I told him, I said, listen, put it on my mortgage. It's okay. Just put a lien on it. I will pay it back. And no, sorry, 33. And I still remember what the paper looked like, the decline paper. Like they put a
Mm,
decline and a circle around it. And
mm.
then I turned
Yeah,
around and there
yeah.
were like four people talking about one had just came out of prison and they were going to pay a hotel. Just, and I'm like, I'm working. I was stressed. I went just before going into the office. So I was stressed like I was going to work. I'm not here. I'm here because I need to.
Mm,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was declined.
yeah.
And I did what I had to do to avoid it happening. I spoke to my boss and I said, listen, can I just, have my check a little earlier? This way, like I could go and cash it. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
but that was horrible. It was such a like, yeah,
Mm,
I was
I
asking for
get,
an
no,
honest
I hear.
loan.
I know it's
Yeah.
ridiculous, but anyway.
Yes. So anyway,
So, um, yeah,
thank you very much
I'll have
for
to I'll have to go shortly, yeah, because we've got um what's a call on at 10 o'clock? There's a call on at 10 o'clock. Oh, the webinar. The
yes, we
webinar's
have
on
the
at
free
10 o'clock.
webinar. Yes, and I think I have a few
Mm,
people there. Well, thank you, Donna. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming up and sharing time with me. I
thank you.
appreciate you. And I'll see you soon. I have two worksheets I'm going to put in the community. Just
Hmm.
so you could look through it and use it if you it's a PDF. So you could look through it and
Perfect.
review it. Okay?
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
excellent. All right.
Love you.
Thank
Blessings to
you.
you. Talk to you soon.
Oops. Yes, you too. Thanks, Maria.
Bye
Bye.
now. Bye. Okay, my beautiful people. I hope you all have a great evening. I am going to have two worksheets that I am going to post together with this video. And please go over it. It's about branding yourself. And don't forget, your story is your strength. And you can do it. You can make this happen for you. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if there's anything that I could do to help you, I am here. May you all have a great evening. Blessings. And do not leave for tomorrow what you could do today. No need. Even if it's 5 minutes that you dedicate on what you really, really, really want, you can make it happen. Have a great evening.